the Finance Committee for today back into session and out of recess. I have one testifier who came late, and I'd like to take that one testifier. So I'd like to call Christopher Leonard forward, please. Mr. Leonard, would you push the button or the bar at the bottom, the base? Yep, and the red light will come on. I need you to give your name. You will have 3 minutes. 2.5 minutes, you're going to hear a tone behind me, and that will tell you 30 seconds, and I will verbally remind you. Please state your name and on Resolution 304-12, and then go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you. My name is Christopher Leonard. I am here to testify in opposition to the resolution. The resolution is flawed as I see it. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. I've been a tenant on the property adjacent. We operate a radio tower on the property there. I was a tenant back when the property was owned and operated by Mauna Kea Sugar and Sea Brewer. And I've had the opportunity to work with the laws over the past, with Jim and Charlene over the past 16 years approximately on the adjacent property. They have been better stewards of this land than anybody who was there prior to them. In 1992, when we bought the radio stations and I had an opportunity to go out there for the first time, I made it down to the beach. It was a very dangerous trek to make it down to the beach through a dilapidated mill site, and I have seen in the period of time that they've owned the land that they, at their own expense, have cleared a path. And I see on a regular basis, who are not at my site on a fairly regular basis, many people who have an opportunity to enjoy that beach on a daily basis. I realize the situation is a complicated one and obviously heated on both sides of the issue. As somebody who was born and raised in Hawaii and spent the better part of my childhood in the water, I certainly have an appreciation for ocean access. But I don't think that eminent domain is the way to go on this process. I think that the landlords or the property owners there are willing to find solutions. I don't think they are looking to restrict access, as has been made out to be both in the press and by many of the people that have testified, who have made it sound like there has been no access at all to the beach. There are people in the water there on a daily basis. We see them going up and down the hill. I think, unfortunately, there are a handful of people that have been a challenge at times, and I certainly have respect for their property rights as well, and I think that there needs to be a balance. I think a balance can be found. I'm just not convinced that eminent domain is the way for that to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. And that closes our public testimony. So at this time, I'm going to go to the referrals, and let's go to the sorry? Yes. Yep, we're going straight there. Communication 853, Resolution 308-12. If there's no objection from anyone in the council, we'll take care of this one and move on. Okay. Provides for the acquisition of easements in private property by eminent domain, being a portion of tax map key numbers 2-7-004 and parcel 118 and 2-7-027 parcel 65, situated at Papaikou District, that's the way it's spelled here, I know it as Papaikou, District of South Kilo, to provide a pedestrian public access easement to the beach at Papaikou. Authorizes the Office of the Corporation Counsel and the Department of Finance to initiate proceedings in eminent domain to acquire the two above-mentioned parcels for the purpose of establishing public pedestrian access to Papaikou Beach. This was introduced by Mr. Yagong. Mr. Yagong?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, move to close public communication 853 and approve Resolution 308-12.
May I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Pilago.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Yagong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I wish to make a motion for a public hearing and site visit regarding Resolution 308-12. I so move.
We'll have a second. Second by Ms. Smart.
Discussion.
Mr. Yagong.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. First of all, Council Member, just so that you folks know, I know if you've read it in the newspapers, I did have a community meeting out at Papaikou Gymnasium between 200 and 300 people did attend that meeting out in Papaikou. And at that time, I told the people in regards to my intentions today, which was to ask for a public hearing so that the council members can go out to Papaikou to do a site visit regarding the property, and also to have a public hearing for the people of Papaikou, which I do know if we do have a meeting, there's going to be there's a lot of interest in regard to this on both sides of the issue, and give the people of that area an opportunity to participate in a public hearing so they can express how they feel, for or against the resolution. I will say that I'm very happy, and I did speak to Miss Charlene Pritchard, as well as Mr. Wong. And one of the things that we want to do on this site visit, of course, if we get the 3 votes to do it, is to do a site visit where they have actually suggested a possible solution, alternative solution to eminent domain on this Troll property. So one of the ideas of the site visit is not to only take a look at the actual property that is in question, or the trail that's in question, but also provide the owners of the property an opportunity to make a presentation right on the property showing where they feel an alternative trail might work better. And what I also discussed with Charlene and Jim was for them to make they've asked for community support in regards to this alternative solution. So what I hope the chairperson will do in setting the logistics regarding this is to allow for a 30-minute presentation by Jim and by Charlene that would open up the public hearing, and then after that we would take testimony. So I think it would be a prudent way for us to kind of proceed. We would not have any discussion today in regards to the resolution. Have the council members have their opportunity to meet with the people out in that area and to hear from the general community, and then have this come back on October 16th, which will be the next committee meeting for the finance committee. And at that point in time, of course, we would take any necessary action that the council deemed necessary, whether to pass the resolution or not pass the resolution, or whatever decision the council makes at that time. But anyway, I hope that I get the support for the public hearing, because it will give us an opportunity to take a look at the area, and then hopefully make a very informed decision, because I think that's all we want to do, is make sure whatever decision is made, it's one that's done fairly and done with the council members being informed. With that, I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Dugan. Are there any other council members who have any comments? Mr. Pilago.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll speak to the motion for a public meeting, and when it's called, I will vote for it. Though I prefer to call a question this day and decide on it once and for all. And the reason for that is this community has gone through a lot of discussions, long time, and never found a way to come to a peaceful settlement. So I fear that this the same thing will be repeated again in this next public hearing. I've had the opportunity to meet with the landowner, and I was very pleased with that. Our discussion was very informative, very cordial, and I see the applicant's points, the landowner's points very well. I also have had the privilege of meeting with the opposition, and their points are very well taken also. I had wanted to call a question on this issue because I felt it was timely that this council take aggressive action and intervene in a question that hurt and divided our community so much. That's why I would have liked to have called a question today. But I'd be pleased to sit one more time. I'm going to come to your community. I'm going to sit to hear this issue one more time. And I look forward to the question coming up. If the community is still divided as it is, we are forced to intervene. And I will make that choice very soon. And if it is very clear, 50 one side, 50 the other side, I have to live with that choice. But I will intervene so this community stop fighting as it has. Because this has gone on too far and too long. Our role is to intervene. I will call for a postponement. I'll be happy and pleased to sit there in this community, to witness this community make itself well and exert and exude and share aloha with each other. Thank you.
Any other
Point of
comments?
personal
Yes,
privilege?
yes, Mr. Yvonne.
Just for formality, maybe check with the clerk at this point in time. Need the logistics be made now by the chairman of the council or after we take the vote?
The rules are not explicitly clear on that, and can be done either way. Basically, at the desire of the chair.
I'll leave it up to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I would prefer to, I'm gonna call you a smart, just my comment right now is I prefer to take this vote and then deal with the logistics this smart.
I will be supporting the call for the public hearing. I think it's important to go out to the community where this discussion is happening and to get a visual of all things being proposed here, especially since there is an alternative. Let's try and do this as amicably as possible, considering the point that we're at today. However, Madam Chair and Mr. Yvonne, I would like to point out, as I've mentioned to you earlier, Mr. Chair, that I am going to be in California from October 16th to the 20th due to family obligations, and I would greatly request to participate in all aspects of this. So if you have to take that into consideration, I'd appreciate it. If it can't be done, that's all right. But just to let you know, I will not be able to participate from October 16th to the 20th.
Thank you. Mr. Onishi, you're okay? Okay.
Ms. Ford.
So, Mr. Yoshimoto?
Yeah. Also to comment on the logistics, I would actually prefer to have that discussed now since we're all here. But if you want to do it offline, that's fine. But I just think everyone's here, the public would know, and then I think everyone has their schedules here today.
Once we get 3 votes, assuming we do, I have the logistics already nailed down.
Okay, then we can comment as far as whether we're
Available
Available
or not,
or not,
yes.
and
'Cause if
decide.
we can't get quorum, that'll, this logistical thing will go down. and
okay.
we'll
Good.
be dealing with it offline. Anything else? Okay, Mr. Clerk, will you take the roll call for the motion to hold a public meeting with a presentation and site visit?
On the motion for a public hearing on resolution 308-12, Mr. Bloss.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Excused.
Mr. Ikeda. Aye. Mr. Onishi.
No.
Mr. Plaga.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yagong. Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Ford.
Aye.
Chair Ford, you have 7 votes in favor.
Thank you. We will be holding the public hearing with a site visit and the presentation by the property owners. I'm going to deal with the logistics now because we, as Mr. Yoshimoto rightfully points out, we have a lot of people concerned about this. The problem is getting the date set between now and the next meeting so that we can come back and discuss this. So the public hearing regarding the resolution 308-12 will be held at the Papaikou County Gymnasium on October 10th, 2012, beginning at 5 p.m. The public hearing will take place after a site visit by the council members, which will take place on Mr. Waugh and Ms. Crickett's property, which is situated in Papaikou. The site visit will proceed at the property through the Papaikou Mill Road, beginning at 4 p.m. The public hearing at the Papaikou Gymnasium will open with a 30-minute presentation by Mr. Waugh and Ms. Cricket regarding their suggestion for an alternate solution to resolution 308-12. Now, I need to hear from the council members who can and cannot attend. We've got to have quorum out there. So, Mr. Yvonne.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just want to let you know, the reason we had it for that particular date was availability of gymnasium. That was, first and foremost, that was the only date that we had available next week to take this on. So for the gymnasium, that date was available because the rest of the days they had other programs.
Thank you. Council members, anyone? Mr. Yoshimoto.
So it's 4 o'clock at the gym.
4 o'clock for the site visit on the property owner's property, and then 5 o'clock for the public at the gym.
Okay, and the presentation's occurring at 4 or 5?
5.
5.
So 4 o'clock site visit, 5 o'clock at the gymnasium for the presentation and the public hearing. Okay, Mr. Onishi. And you attend.
Well, first of all, I don't have my calendar with me, so I have to go and check about October 10th. But then my next question would be for the site visit on the liability part of the landowner. Because it's going to be open to the public, Or is it just gonna be open to the council members?
The site visit,
Yes.
Mr. Yvonne?
Thank you. A good question, Mr. Onishi. When we've held site visits, for example, last term was Kama'oa Road.
But that's a county road.
That was the question. But what we did is that road that Ms. Ford mentioned,
Pilimai.
Road, that road is actually owned by the adjoining property owner, Mr. Steve Shropshire, and we've already talked to him. He is allowed, us to proceed through that property. He is granted approval for us to go through his roadway because it goes right to the corner property of Jim and Charlene, and it's right where they are proposing that alternate trail. So that's why we're going.
Okay, so the difference between Kamora Road and what this is like, Kamora Road, we were onto the county road, or supposedly the paper road, okay? Now, I'm hoping that Mr. Shropshire understands that in case anything happens or anybody gets hurt, then he might be responsible. Or does people need to sign a waiver to get onto his property?
We've never had to do that.
But we're going on somebody's private property, right? So, I mean, because if it's just open to the council, and then I can see kind of like where the county can be responsible. But if we have public coming out there and somebody trips and falls on his property.
Okay. So the existing trail that's there now that people are going through,
Well,
people signing up waivers?
Well, I mean, I think the landlord is just letting them use it, right? That's part of the understanding that I get, that they're giving the public access, right? But I guess they're holding the responsibility or the liability.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm sorry. Mr. Nishi, speaking with Charlene and Jim, I've told them about doing a site visit at this particular entrance on their property so they could show the council prior to the presentation exactly what they're going to be talking about. So they have allowed us to do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, but that's what I say, so the council, what about so the public is also invited, correct?
Yes.
Right, so if we have 100 people there to go and look at this area, parking, would everything be okay?
Well, if people, we cannot. It's like even like at the public hearing, you cannot dictate how much people can and cannot come.
No, I understand, but I'm just
They come. If they don't, they don't.
yeah. But I just making sure that everything, be accessible to everyone and everything's will be okay, and the liability part would be, understood.
There's a lot of room on this roadway as far as parking. If 100 people show up, which I doubt very much, but if they do, there is a lot of space on this particular road for that. Thank you. Good concern.
Thank you, Mr. Pilardo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have some concerns in that the item is already dispensed with. So we have moved the motion. I just wish to caution this committee that we need to be cognizant of parliamentary procedure and council rules. The motion is already approved towards a public hearing, and our call was that we would leave it as call of the chair to make the arrangements. I would prefer that we trust in your judgment and in your staff's ability to coordinate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right,
One last question.
yes, Mr. Onishi.
Mr. Chair, for the date of October 10th, was that your selection of the date for?
Mr. Yvonne just told us the reason he chose that date was the date of availability for the gymnasium.
Okay, I
That's
just
why it
wanted
was
to make that
selected.
clear. Okay, thank you.
One last thing. Council members, staff will be arranging for a van to leave here at the county building. So those that do want to travel in the van, certainly we can make arrangements for that. Just let chair and staff know, and we will arrange for that.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's the end of that one. We're going on to the rest of the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be taken out of order? Okay, we're gonna start at the top of the agenda. Communication 96.40.